We overestimate what we can do in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. If you don't know me, my name is matheusyuriofficial, and I'm a barber here in Sydney. And before we start this video, I want you to click on the thumbs up button so you like this video and YouTube can spread the word for other people as well. And also subscribe to my channel so you can receive the next content. All right. So in this channel is a barber channel, as you can see, is Yuri Barber. But before I actually start introducing myself as a barber, I want to tell people about my story so people get to know about me, and they will also know how I got to the point from just a normal person to a barber who's got so many other goals and different mindset from that guy at 19 years old when he first came to Australia. If you saw my previous video that I did a few weeks ago, it was a live streaming, which was really hard for me to record because I'm trying to get used to the camera. You know, that was my first video. This is going to be my second video in this channel. I have a podcast as well, so I'm not always talking straight forward to the camera. I'm talking to a guest or someone else, and I don't have the camera right in front of me looking at me just like it is now. So it's quite hard to do it, but as I train, the more I do, the better I get. I don't mind. So the first video was quite hard for me to get it done, but the second video will be better. I'll get used to the camera. I'll be feeling more comfortable in front of the camera. So, and this is why I'm doing this channel as well, because I want to challenge myself to talk to people and talk about my story without having to read the script or just going back and forth on the story many times. This is my second video, and I know 100% that in my next 10 videos, 20 videos, 30 videos, 40, and so on, I'll look at myself and I'll be like, wow, you have grown so much. And this is why I'm just documenting my story here, and I think everyone else should be doing that. And this is what I do. If you follow my Instagram page, which is on the description of this video, I also share a lot about my life, a lot about my mindset. Every single time, every single day, I'm there posting something or any insight that I had. So you saw in the beginning of this video that I mentioned that we underestimate what we can do. Sorry, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. Sometimes we overestimate what we can do in 6 months, 3, 2. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because I have something here that I saw yesterday, and this is the reason why I came to this video to share with you. So here is my notebook, and today I brought to this video this amazing notebook that I bought when I was 19 years old and I was in Brazil. And you can see there's a pathway. I don't know what this is called, but there's a pathway here, and then the water. And then what I wanted to do with this was to write down all of my way to this success. All right. I have registered interesting things here that I want to spread and I want to share with people. When I read it yesterday, I was so shocked with the things I saw, because I had the date here. It was back in March 2019. What was my goal when I was coming to Australia? What did I wanted to do? And now, before I actually come to Australia, I went to a prep course, college prep course, because in Brazil, if you want to go to uni, you got to do a prep course before you actually apply for it. I was doing this course. I was going to course vet. I was going to be a veterinarian. That was my goal when I was doing this college prep course. But it didn't work. And the reason why it didn't work is because I do not believe on the system we have nowadays, which is just a normal path, right? You go to school, and then right after school you got to go to college, and then right after college you got to find a job, and then right after finding a job you got to increase on your fields, and then you start from just a normal cleaner, and then from the cleaner you go to the office, and then the office you go to as a manager, and then as a manager director, and then director probably your owner. And then when I open my eyes, I have finally reached the age of 50 years old, and I'll look back and I'll be like, what the heck? What have I done? I am also using another camera here, and I want to show this notebook. Everything here you see now is in Portuguese. So there's no reason for me to be showing you this book, but you know, I just want you to actually have a look, see that it's legitimate. Let's get started with this. I decided to come here because I was so bored in the class, especially because in my classroom, we've had 173 people sitting in front of me, watching the same class, watching the same teacher, and doing the same thing with the same goals or similar goals. And I was like, all of them are my competitors. And some of my competitors would stay here for 6 years, Some others stays here for 1 year to, all depends on the college they want to go to, but they would stay from 1 year to 6 years, some of them 7, 8, and so on. And I did not want to go through that path because I never believed on the system that society has been pushing us to follow. And I was so unmotivated because I couldn't believe that I had to go through all that process until I actually applied for my uni. And it was so painful for me, man, because I would have to spend so much time of my life studying something that society and my family, they were pushing me to study because they wanted me to go to uni. And lots of people, they have the family that pushed them to go to uni, right? At least my family, they were doing that for my well-being because they want the best for me, not because they want the worst. Especially because my family, they started seeing money once they finished their uni. It was much easier for them to go to companies and work for companies because they had a resume with the university they did. But this is not how it works nowadays. Nowadays, you have to show outcomes. Nowadays, you got to show your results. People are worried about your results over they worried about your resume. In a resume, you're going to have a little piece of your university written down saying what university you did for how many years and stuff, and that never made sense for me. And then I decided to come to Australia because I was so bored watching my history teacher, and I was so bored in my history class that I was like reading books. I was not paying attention in the class, so I was writing down things that I was wondering about my life. And one of the things I read in here was, why do I do what I do? And why do I not do what I don't do? I'll mention this part of the notebook in another video because it's not part of this, but it is also part of my story. I remember in this prep course, I was just planning to get to know about myself a little bit more, right? That's what I mean by that. I was reading this philosophy book, which is why we do what we do. And then after responding to these questions, I could understand what was holding me back, what kept me from moving forward. The prep course was really good for me because I could connect with myself, actually see the things I hated doing and the things I would probably love doing. I was with my best friend Pedro. He came from Brazil with me to Australia, and we still here we are. We are in Australia. We live in the same house. We do a podcast together. And if you want to know about my podcast, I will leave the link down below as well. And I remember with Pedro, we were so bored in a class, because we could never see ourselves going to college. And this is why we ended up coming together to Australia, because I think we had pretty similar goals or pretty similar things that we hated, and we were also best friends back in school, so that was easy for me to move out to Australia with him. So I was in this prep course and I wrote down what was my goals to Australia, and here's the interesting part of this video, and here's why I started the video with the saying, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. So the first thing I'm showing you here is what are the goal. What will be the goal when I come to Australia? I was reading this yesterday and this literally touched my heart because it was so good for me to see everything that I wrote and compare it to my life now, 3 years later. Compare it to my life and understand how much I have grown, how much I have changed, and how much I have accomplished. The first topic of what my goals are is doing my exchange program in Australia. My core goal was study English, and you can see in this camera, you can see I have highlighted study English. No matter what I was going to do, I had to know English. And if you don't know, when I first came, I couldn't speak a word, and after 3 years, I can talk to anyone else I want, and I'm being so proud of myself because I came from nothing to something. All right, so that was that was my core goal, which was to study English, and then the second goal was to work in Australia. And of course, I did work, and I am working. I thought it would be hard for me to find jobs in Australia because I couldn't speak English. And when I first came, my first or second week, I tried to find a job, and I did find a job in my second week, and I got fired 1.5 weeks later because I couldn't speak English. And then my third goal was to make good networking. That was a really important thing for me because I already knew when I was 19 years old that networking would bring me to anywhere. One of the things that I understand now, the way I can see, is that you don't need money, you need people, because people brings you money. And networking brings you money as well. And I think networking is one of the most powerful tools to bring you money, knowledge, or whatever the heck you need. Because sometimes the networking has got everything that you need, depending on your needs. So you got to try to find the best one. So I already knew that. So this is why I wrote down here, make good networkings. And then the fourth thing was study the stock exchange and apply in practice what was once theory. That was bloody awesome. And the reason why is because back that time, I was learning a lot. I was waking up every morning, 4:50 a.m. I was so focused on studying. After 6 months, I put all my money on stocks, and in Brazil, which was my mistake in the beginning, I think. Anyway, I did what I asked myself to do. And the fifth topic, it's funny because I said bring at least $3,000 to Brazil, and I will explain this topic further away. And the sixth thing I wrote was undertake a business, become an entrepreneur. And I was so proud of myself when I read this, because now I have my YouTube channel that I am running, which is my podcast as well, that I've been posting for a year. We've got more than 80 episodes already recorded and posted. And also I have my barber shop here in my house, which is my startup. I work for another barber shop, but I have my barber shop here. There are 3 businesses that makes money for me. So I'm assuming I became an entrepreneur, the entrepreneur I wanted. Even though I'm not making the amount of money I wanted to do, it is a process, right? We got to learn from mistakes, and the more you mistake, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the better you get. And the last topic I wrote was bring my Cambridge to Brazil. I wanted to have a certificate that I had finished my English course, and I have it done. The interesting part of this is what would be my goal when I go back to Brazil. What would I do with everything that I have learned, everything that I have accomplished in Australia? What will I do when I go back to Brazil? And I wrote here, invest 50% of this $3,000 on myself. Wouldn't be to buy physical things, would be actually for knowledge. I wanted to invest 1.5K on myself. So what I mean by that was like buy books, buy a course. Literally, guys, here in Australia, $1,500 is nothing. If you want to invest on yourself, $1,500 is quite a lot. Not much, but it's better than nothing. But in Brazil, $1,500 is a lot. So you can invest a lot on yourself as well. But anyways, it was just a small goal that I had. 10,000. That means 10,000 reais, which is 2,500 or $3,000 at the moment. I mean, what can you do with that? Not much, eh? Now, with my standards and the things I want to invest on myself, I would probably need more money. What I have learned in Australia here, doing this almost 3 years here, fuck bro, it means more than millions for me. I think I end up investing $1 million on me. And I'm telling you that because if you think the opposite way, right? You think, all right, so your knowledge is worth $1 million, huh? So think this way. I wouldn't sell 100% of the knowledge I had over these 3 years in Australia for $1 million. I wouldn't sell it. If someone come up to me and say, I will take all this knowledge out of your minds forever in exchange of $1 million, would you take it? It took me time, experience, and experience comes over time. So I wouldn't sell it for $1 million in exchange for having nothing. And the second thing I wrote here was present a curriculum and results to companies. And now I can't see myself doing that because I don't want to work for companies. I'd rather to have my own company. I'd rather to have my own business so I can run the way I want, learn much more than actually running someone else's business, doing just like working on small fields, have like just an average salary. And I think I will learn much more by becoming an entrepreneur and undertaking my business. That'll be just more beneficial for me. The third thing, make my first money work for me, increase income and results, and therefore grow. That was funny because if I went back to Brazil, I would definitely want to make my money work for me because it's so hard to work for the money there. And of course, I want to increase my income. And this is what I'm doing here now. I'm doing definitely everything that I would do back in Brazil, I am doing here. I'm just not doing the curriculum thing to spreading my curriculum to companies because, you know, I think my Instagram does a really good job. And this is why I'm working on such a good barbershop at the moment. This is literally what I'm doing. I'm making my money work for me. I could increase my income and results. And I am growing. So, and then check on the list. The fourth thing, make my digital marketing happen. My digital marketing, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I have been doing over the past years, doing a digital marketing for my podcast. So I post, I edited videos, I study copywriting, I study everything that I have to study in order to reach more people and then bring more people to my podcast and then qualify my audience, so have people that actually want to listen to me, the right people. So they're going to stick up to the end of the video and watch the whole thing, or at least like engage more with me. So I think I'm doing that pretty well. Also, I'm doing that for my podcast. I'm doing that for my barber content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, every single platform that I can work at the moment, because I'm only one person and I am doing my best. And then the last thing was study economics. I know in the beginning of this video I told you I would do vet, but I ended up deciding to do economics. And the reason why is because I had my sister's ex-boyfriend, and he was doing economics at uni and he was working for a bank. And I was like, all right, so there was a chance of working for a bank, which is quite profitable. But I will be doing that just for the money and not for something that I was actually touching on my heart. And this is what I'm doing now. Now I'm just following my heart and doing everything that my heart asked me to do. Like yesterday, I listened to my heart saying, go and film this video. You gotta post it. You gotta tell people this part of your story, which is literally, guys, this is only one day of my story. This is only one day of March of 2019 of my story. And this is how much I have changed. This is how much I have accomplished since then. And this is how much I have grown. I am so proud of myself. And the last thing in this notebook, which is something that still describes me a lot: make everything happen. I will show you this camera. Have a look. I have also written in English here, so it's worth showing you. Here I said, make everything happen. Smart money start before them. So I still think this way. I am still this kind of a guy who wants to start before them and make everything happen and have a smart money. The smart money is pretty much making the money work for yourself instead of the opposite way. Anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit of my story. I hope you could have learned something. Please, guys, do not underestimate what you can do in 10 years, because over these 3 years I have accomplished everything. My mindset has changed a lot. It all depends on you. It all depends on your experience. And if you are as young as I am, which is 22, or if you are younger or even older, go and have more experiences in your life, because the experiences will show you what you hate, will show you what you love doing, will show you what your heart is passionate about. And after figuring out what your heart is passionate about, then you'll find a way for your happiness. I hope this video was helpful for you. My name is Matheusuri. If you like this video, please do not forget to click on the button down below to subscribe to my channel. Also click the thumbs up button, and I'll see you next week. If you have any suggestion as well to tell me, please do not forget to comment in this video. Tell me whatever you want. Tell me whatever you liked about this video, whatever you hated about this video, and I will improve. And again, this is the second video I am filming. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of courage to do it. And here I am, putting myself out there and doing what my heart told me to do. Follow your heart, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.